Hi everybody, LG here, and welcome to r/Am I the A-hole? This one's from user RegC7929. Am I the a-hole for choosing my dog over my mom and her fiance? My dad died in a work accident when I was 15, and I'm now 17 male. Last year, my mom started going out with Anthony, and they just got engaged. Anthony wanted to move in, but the problem is he's severely allergic to dogs. My mom told me we had to get rid of Dax, my dog. Like, not even as a question, just straight up said that's what we're gonna do. I fought with my mom over this because he's my family and he's what's helped me get through losing my dad. Dax was my dad's dog that he rescued from a shelter when he was still a puppy, and we had him since I was 11, so he means a lot to me. But my mom was like, nope, he has to go. We fought so much about it, I actually cried. Nobody wanted to adopt Dax though, and I had to beg my grandpa from my dad's side to take him, or else my mom was gonna take him to a shelter. The problem is, my grandpa lives an hour away, and he can't do much physical stuff like take him out for walks, feed him, take him to the vet, etc., and no one around to help him take care of a dog. My grandpa suggested I could move here with him since all my classes are on Zoom and I'm graduating in June anyways. I told my mom I want to move in with my grandpa so I can be with Dax. She got really mad about that, and she says that her and Anthony are my family and I need to be with them. But I told her, 1, Anthony's not my family. I have my own problems with him because he's kept talking about being my new dad and I don't like that crap. But he doesn't listen when I tell him to stop saying he's my new dad, because he's not. And 2, Dax is my family, and she made me get rid of him just like that. My grandpa's my family too, anyways. Last week I got my stuff, and my uncle helped me move to my grandpa's house. My mom's still mad at me. She's not gonna force me to come back, but she's still saying I'm being a really crappy son and that I'm choosing to be with my dog instead of them. But it hurts too much being without him. He was taken to my grandpa's a week before I left, and all that time I was up crying missing him. And I know he missed me too, because he lost it when I got there. My mom keeps telling me to come back and stop being cruel with her, but I'm happy here with my dog. I get she's got someone new to be happy with, and that's cool, it's her life. But why can't I be happy too with my dog living with me? Does it make me an a-hole that I basically did choose Dax over her? And the community judgment for this one is that OP is not the a-hole. Now let's take a look at the top comments to see why they think this. The Chosen Juan says, "You are absolutely not a crappy son. What your mom doing is horrible. She's trying to force a new family on you without your consent. Stay with your grandpa and keep the dog. Hope things look up for you in the future. I can tell Dax is a good boy, not the a-hole." Wondering Witch Cat says, "Not the a-hole. You made the right decision. You're in a supportive environment with your best friend, and that's all that matters. This is also a good time to set boundaries with your mom and her future spouse. Be clear that you are moving forward and have no intentions of returning." Editing. Reread your post. Your dad died in a work accident? The insurance from this, who has it? There should be survivor benefits in your name. You need to check in on this and make sure your mother and her spouse don't take something that is meant for you. You are underage, but benefits should revert at 18 to you. However, unless changed, those funds keep going into your mother's account. Angry Sunbird says, "I see so many stories here about how parents expect their kids to automatically accept their new partners when they remarry. It blows my mind they think it will just happen. Not the a-hole." I agree, OP, you are not the a-hole. Stay with your dog and stay with your grandpa. That's where you're happy and that's where you're safe. What your mom's doing is not right, trying to force her relationship on you and that you just have to accept it. And also, what's this guy Anthony's deal, telling you he's your new dad? Where does he get off? No, absolutely not. OP, if you're happy where you are, stay there. And don't pay attention to your mom's guilt trips about you being a crappy son or, making her suffer or whatever. She did this to herself. She put you in a situation where you had to choose between the dog and her and this Anthony fellow. And in my opinion, you chose wisely. What do you guys think about OP's choice? Let me know in the comment section. And now, let's move on to the next story. This one's from user My Mill is Insane 765554. Am I the a-hole for defying my mother-in-law? My 70-year-old son just developed an allergic reaction yesterday after dinner because his cousin accidentally fed him some peanuts, which is something he is allergic to. He developed red rashes all over his body and he told us he felt itchy. I decided to make the move to drive him to the nearest hospital, and it was at that moment I was stopped by my mother-in-law. She told me that in the midst of this pandemic, it is unnecessary to pay a visit to the doctor and that it's putting us at risk of getting COVID. She said he can have some over-the-counter medication, sleep it off, and it'll be fine tomorrow. She backed her statement up with how it has happened before. At that time, we were unaware of his peanut allergy. He slept it off and he was fine the next day. Now, I've heard of stories of how fatal an allergic reaction can turn out, so obviously I wasn't going to put my son's life at stake just because my mother-in-law thinks she's right. I insisted on bringing my son to the hospital, and I did. At the hospital, my husband started sending me a chain of messages asking me why I humiliated his mother by not listening to her, that she sounded logical, and I was just being overly paranoid over an allergic reaction. Apparently, my mother-in-law is now victimizing herself, calling her sisters, crying and complaining about how I went against her wishes. My husband, who was working night shift, even ended his work earlier to go back home to appease his mother for my supposed defiance. He didn't even ask about our child or drop by at the hospital despite knowing we were there. The reason why I'm starting to doubt my stance is because at the hospital, the pediatrician assured me that it's just a common allergic reaction, that it wasn't anything endangering. Things are looking bad on me as a result, as if I was purposefully going against my mother-in-law because now she was right about it. Am I the a-hole here? Should I have listened to her? Now everyone's turning their backs on me. The same applies to my husband. And after much deliberation, the community decided that OP was not the a-hole. Now let's take a look at the top comments to see why they say this. Delightful Absurdity says, an anecdote. 1 year as a kid, I was stung by a cow ant, type of ground wasp, on the bottom of my foot. Foot swelled up, hurt, I got better. 2nd year, stung again on my foot by same type of wasp. Leg swelled up to my knee, hurt like hell, I got better. 3rd time it happened, again stuck on bottom of my foot. My leg very quickly swelled up to my ass and my mom took me to urgent care. I was told next time to go directly to the hospital. Unsure why I wasn't prescribed an EpiPen, though maybe it was just unavailable for my poor family and our lack of insurance. The next time, anaphylactic reaction may happen and that I should avoid wasps of any kind now. The point, allergies can accelerate even with minimal exposure to the allergen, in a scary way. Your mother-in-law knowing this has happened before without telling you makes me very concerned for the next time it will happen, as she's not concerned about the child's reaction, but her own saving of face. Not the a-hole. Mother-in-law needs to get a firm grip. By the Emperors says, 100% not the a-hole. Allergic reactions, especially when they develop into full-blown anaphylaxis, can lead to a very serious situation very quickly. Your mother-in-law sounds like a classic abusive narcissist, so good on you for not reinforcing her behavior. I'd have a sit-down with your husband as well and talk about why he didn't even ask about how his son was. I'm assuming you told him and that he didn't just hear it from your mother-in-law who may have spun the story. If you told him how bad it was, then you do need a serious chat about his priorities. Servant of Bosco says, not the a-hole. Go to an allergy doctor and have your kid officially evaluated. Maybe, at this time, an EpiPen would be good to have handy too. Your whole family is a little too blasé about your kid. Imagine the surprised Pikachu face on your mother-in-law's face if your kid's throat swelled up and your kid suffocated. And peanuts, they should be banned from the house, in any form, for the foreseeable forever. Okay, OP, well, first things first. You are not the a-hole. I see 2 big issues here. 1. Why does your mother-in-law think that she has some sort of authority over you and what you do with your kid? The big question there is, who's the mom? You or her? The dad wasn't there for you guys to have a discussion over what to do, so you get to make that decision by yourself. If she chooses to pitch in an opinion, unwarranted by the way, and you choose to do whatever you want because it's your kid, then she just needs to shut up and sit down, and that's it. I do have to say, I was very bothered with how she was saying that you went against her wishes regarding your son, and that she took this as defiance. Who the hell does she think she is? Anyways, I'm gonna stop on the mother-in-law there, because now we move to point number 2. The husband. Is he one of those mama's boys who will take his mommy's side over supporting his wife? Because if that's so, then you've got bigger issues than your son's allergies. And you should definitely have a talk with him about that. He went to appease mommy before checking in on his kid. What is wrong with this man? And finally, regarding your son, I would definitely take him to a specialist to take a look at his allergies. Maybe there are others that you're unaware of. So don't worry, OP, you're definitely not the a-hole. You did right by your son, so good on you. And on that note, I'll ask you, what do you think about this whole situation? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the next post. This one's from user David McMahon 2. Am I the a-hole for walking out on dinner when friends asked me to leave? My group of friends made a reservation for dinner at a popular restaurant for 6 people. But when we got to the restaurant, one of my friends, let's call her person A, brought along her boyfriend without advance notice to any of us, hence making the total number of people 7. We all know her boyfriend and are pretty chill with him, so we thought to ask the restaurant if 7 people is possible. Unfortunately, the restaurant was unable to accommodate 7 people as our reservation was stated for 6 people. This is also understandable, as the restaurant was a popular one and packed during that night, so fair enough. At this point, person A, who is kinda the leader of our friend group, turns to me and says, "Okay, I think you should leave so that we'll have 6 people." I was flabbergasted and shocked when I heard that. My other friends kept silent, and no one really spoke, so there was this awkward silence. I almost wanted to propose that perhaps we could have gone to a different restaurant down the street instead that could accommodate 7 people, for example. But I felt a surge of emotions and called her a heartless bee. My friends all looked at me in horror, and person A clearly looked shocked as well. The next day, my friend, let's call her person B, texted me and said that I overreacted and was an a-hole for calling person A bee in public. I was confused by this, as I thought that I wasn't the a-hole in this situation, but maybe I was, I'm not sure. Am I the a-hole? And of course, the overall community consensus is that OP is not in fact the a-hole. So now let's take a look at the top comments to review their reasoning. I'm a human, I swear, says, not the a-hole. You need new friends. Good friends don't ask you to leave so an unexpected and unannounced +1 can take your place at the table. Crap Senorita says, not the a-hole. I feel like the 7th person should bow out in this situation. Omega XX19 says, not the a-hole. Your language was harsh, but honest, I think I would have done the same. If anyone were to leave, it should have been the boyfriend who was not invited. Or you could have just all gone to a different restaurant. Ejecting you from the party was a straight mean girl move. OP's edit. Someone in the comments raised a valid point. The rest of my friends were a couple, aka 3 couples in the group. And I'm the only single person in the group. Person A's boyfriend said he couldn't make it when we made the reservation long ago, but he suddenly showed up at the restaurant last minute. Maybe me being the only single person in the group made me instantly the odd one out. Edit to update. This thread is now locked, and I wanted to give some sense of closure and update. Thank you all for your insights and comments. I shared this thread with my friends, and they told me off and scolded me actually for sharing this in a public community. However, one of the couples, who I'm closest to in the group, reached out privately to me over text and told me that they felt bad and apologized for not speaking up. But that's it. I've had enough and will walk away. To emulate the example of Michael Jordan in The Last Dance, I would say, okay, you want to ask me to leave? Okay, fine, no problem. That's all I needed. I took it personal from then on. Edit 3. Apparently, the mods unlocked this thread now, I don't know why, to answer some of the common questions that cropped out. 1. How long was the silence? Maybe the other friends were just stunned and didn't know how to react, so that's why they were silent. Answer. I didn't count, but the silence felt like 10 to 15 seconds, I think. There was time for me to look at the rest in horror, but the rest were all looking down at the ground in silence. I concede that I should have given more time, but honestly, I think I instinctively felt like this should be quite obvious for someone to come out and say, "Hey, wait a minute." I also concede the possibility that the others may be stunned and didn't know what to do, but their subsequent conduct proved otherwise. See person B's conduct or how the group reacted when I showed them the thread, maybe except for the couple who's reached out. 2. Why is there a leader of the group? Are you guys in high school? Answer, no, we are all in college and met in college. Not childhood friends or anything like that. God forbid that my childhood friends treat me like that, haha, cause that would have blown my mind. I can't even imagine. As for the leader, what I meant is our group is big and there's always going to be a natural, more dominant, de facto pseudo-leader that takes the initiative, etc. Whether it be organizing meetups or touching base with everyone and be the glue, so to speak. 3. Did you walk out or who walked out? Not clear from your post. Answer, apologies for not being clear. Yes, I walked out of the dinner after calling person A B. 4. Why did you call her a B? Under no circumstances should it be right to name call. Answer, I agree upon hindsight that it may be over the top, but it was in the heat of the moment and out of character for me. Friends who know me know that I'm usually the studious and quiet type. 5. Why did you not defend yourself or voice your opinion or question why person A is asking me to leave? Answer, I wanted to do that actually, to be honest, but felt short of it. Something inside me, maybe it was whatever shred of self-respect that I had left, instinctively didn't want me to appear needy and be defensive and argue or beg for a seat at the table. I'd rather just walk away. Okay, so I don't think OP was the a-hole. Yes, maybe calling her friend a B for asking her to leave might have been too much, but still, to me, OP's not the a-hole here, and it's person A. Initially, the boyfriend couldn't make it, person A knew about this, took the boyfriend anyways when they found out he could, and then just decided that OP was the one that needed to leave. Maybe it was because OP was single, it doesn't really matter. She brought the boyfriend couldn't be seated, and instead of asking OP, she should have told the boyfriend, I'll see you later, or the boyfriend should have said by himself, you know what, I'm the one that's extra here. Also, yeah, the friends are crappy friends, they should have stood up or said something, and OP can also stand up for herself. But to her question, no, I don't think she was the a-hole in this situation. What would you have done had you been OP and a friend asked this of you? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the next post. And now we've reached that moment when I say that if you liked this video, please go ahead and give it a like, and that if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for, and just join our community, you know you want to. And also, if you want to further engage with the community, you can always join our Discord server. There's a link in the description and we're all waiting for you to get there. Additionally, there are other links in the description that you might enjoy. And finally, thanks so much for watching the video. Like I say in most of the comments that I replied to, it's great to know that these videos are enjoyed by you guys. And having said all that, I'll see you in the next video.